Welcome back to another tool review. Today we are talking about the Greenworks 40-volt pole saw. Now this is basically a 6-inch chainsaw on a pole, a very long pole that comes with an extension so that you can prune trees. Now for professional use I probably wouldn't recommend this, but if you're just a homeowner and you've got some damaged limbs in one of your trees that you need to take down, storm came through and broke some limbs up in the air that you just need to deal with, it's not a bad option. Honestly, it's kind of awkward to deal with because when you're having this thing up in the air, you're holding this end with the chainsaw attached, probably with the extension attached, probably while standing on top of a ladder, at least in my experience, to get extra reach so you can get up to like somewhere around 20 feet. And then you're holding all of that, trying to cut something over your head. It's definitely an awkward tool. It also comes out being kind of heavy once you've got a battery attached. You can get the tool at a reasonable price. It's under $200. As awkward as this thing is to use and as annoying as it is to use, it beats spending $600 to $1,000 to hire an arborist to do 2 or 3 cuts. So for really light duty, I would recommend this tool. Couple things to be aware of. If you're not familiar with chainsaws, you have to put bar oil in it. And just like the other Greenworks chainsaw reviewed, here's the access for the bar oil. You've got a little gauge there to tell you how much oil there is in it. It doesn't hold very much, but if you're just like cutting 2 or 3 limbs, it's fine. But you can't see into that gauge. It isn't clear enough to actually see how much is in there. So you just kind of top it off at the beginning of your work and you won't use it all by the end. It does come with a nice little cover for the end of the blade. Got an 8-inch bar and chain set up, which is kind of an oddball size. And the pitch, which is it's the diameter of this groove that the chain moves in the bar, is a 0.43. Now, chains are a wear item, bars are a wear item. If you use this thing long enough, you will have to replace both of these parts. And they're relatively cheap. I mean, you think about a new chain for like 30 bucks. The problem is most chainsaws have a 0.05 gauge or a 0.063 gauge. This is much thinner at 0.43, which annoyingly it doesn't actually print anywhere on it. So you will have to do a little extra shopping to get a chainsaw chain. If you look for here, take the dust cover off. It's going to be a little dirty from use. One thing you'll notice if you saw the other video, the other chainsaw review, there is no tension adjustment in there. In order to adjust the tension, you have to adjust this screw here on the front. So, is it doable? Yeah, for the light use you're going to get out of this chainsaw, it's probably fine. It's just a slight annoyance, because that will adjust the tension, basically how tight the chain is to the bar, and you need that relatively tight or you'll end up with the chain coming off the bar. Bad things happening. They made this piece nice and easy to take off, but I have no idea why. The only time you'd want to take this off is to clean it. As you can see how dirty this thing is, I don't do that often, it's fine. Now, one other thing you'll notice if you're used to chainsaws is normally a chainsaw will have some teeth sticking out there that you can use to kind of stick into your wood and get a little tension to drag up and down. This doesn't have that. I haven't had a problem due to that, because once again, it's a tiny little saw. You're cutting limbs not much bigger than an arm. I would not think of this as a replacement for a regular chainsaw, though, simply because it's on a long pole and you don't have a way to put a lot of force on that, even for small cuts. Just like at your minimum length of the saw. Put these together. The minimum length of the saw is, well, longer than my camera can capture. So for use on the ground, I wouldn't even bother. This is entirely for tree pruning. One thing to note is for the attachment here, this piece that slides in is not actually square, it's slightly off. Get that near the camera so you can see. You can see it's kind of a trapezoidal shape. That causes this to be indexed so you can't assemble it backwards. Now, I have never had a use for this saw without the middle piece, so just assume when you use it you'll probably want that. Runs off a 40-volt Greenworks battery. Throw that in real quick. Actually clicks in relatively nice. There's a thumb safety there, so you basically push down. Hopefully you can see this on camera. There. You basically push down with your thumb, and then the rest of this handle is a trigger. Sit down. And there you go, to cut. Also, one nice thing is, unlike some of the other Greenworks tools, the battery just comes out relatively easy. Of course, it's going to be frustrating after I say that. There we go. We'll throw in some B-roll footage of this thing in use.
Okay.
Okay.
You okay?
Oh, the thing's heavy when you get it out.
Yeah.
recording? Well, let's take it here. That's here. Okay, that one's also too close to.
Okay.
So, would I recommend it? For light use, non-professional, just kind of around the homestead, it's not bad. It's a whole lot cheaper than hiring an arborist. Whether you should get Greenworks or some other company's tools really depends on what battery system you're on. Because these batteries cost about $120, and some of the tools don't even cost that much. So really, if you're on the Greenworks 40 volt battery system, this is definitely a good saw to get, because you already have the batteries. If you think you might want to be on the Greenworks battery system and have other Greenworks tools, this is a good saw to get because you'll be on that battery system. And Greenworks makes plenty of good tools. I've got their 40 volt tiller, I've got a 16-inch chainsaw that runs off this, we've got a string trimmer that all work off these same 40 volt batteries. Oh, and a lawnmower. So if you're going to be on the Greenworks battery system, it's a decent saw. It does what it needs to. On the other hand, if you're already using DeWalt tools or Milwaukee or Makita or somebody else, just stick to their tools. Stick to their battery system. It's not somehow extraordinary. It's just a saw. So that's it for now. We'll have reviews of more Greenworks tools coming soon. So subscribe, stick around. You know how YouTube works. Do all the like stuff.